Hello, everyone. This is News Now from the Belmont Journal, and we're joined by Joanna Tzouvelis of the Belmont Citizen-Herald for our regular weekly update on news here in Belmont. And I'm your host, Mike Crowley. So welcome, Joanna.
Thank you, Mike.
All right, so I understand the town has demolished an informal bicycle and skateboard set of ramps that had been constructed by kids and parents. What can you tell us, Joanna?
Okay, a lot of people may have already heard about this. If you are on Facebook, it's been all over social media. Last summer, during the pandemic quarantine, a group of Belmont youth created a dirt jumping bike course on town property located between the Belmont train station and the Clark Street Bridge next to Royal Road. And this became a regular activity for them to participate in. They were really enjoying it until April 28th, when they discovered that the dirt piles they made for their course, their jumping course, moved. Now, this all came about as a result of a complaint from a neighbor. And so it brought the attention that this was happening on town property, and it became more of a liability and safety issue for the town. So the town said, we have to put a stop to this. But what we will do is we'll have a public discussion about it, and then we can, figure out how we can do this safely, because, these are unpermitted structures, they're near wetlands, and you are creating, a disturbance for the neighbor. You're making noise, although they say they weren't the ones making the noise. And, littering, I don't know where the litter might have come from, but, there was litter, including liquor bottles. But again, we don't know if that was from this group or just if it was already there. We don't know.
Joanna, what's the plan for a public discussion?
So this is the thing. It's unfortunately, they have to wait until after town meeting, because right now the select board is really busy with that. So we're looking at about 5 weeks out. There will be a public discussion. They want all the stakeholders involved. Now, in the meantime, this group of Belmont youth, they've started a petition. They want to get 3,000 signatures. I think they're about like 600 signatures right now. So there is a petition circulating. Will you support this? We need all the support we can get for this to, become. I don't know if the word is legal, but they just want support from the community. They want people to show that they support it, so that again, it can get approved by the town. And I don't know what's involved in that approval process. And it was important to know that they said this was not a decision by the Belmont police to put an end to it. They wanted people to know that this was a town administration decision. And town administration, when it was brought to their attention, sent Public Works over to see what was going on, and Public Works cleaned it up.
All right, well, we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah. We will see. Oh, and by the way, there is a Google Meet tonight at 8 o'clock. For anyone who's not going to be watching town meeting like us, go on the Google Meet and you can weigh in on this big deal in Belmont for people who enjoy jumping on their bikes.
All right, Joanna. So I was going to mention that it is town meeting time again, and this past Monday night, the talk was long. And so was the evening, especially talking about the light department governance.
I agree.
What is the story about that?
Sure. Well, as it turns out, Mike, after about 2 hours of debate and more than 30 people speaking, mostly in favor of Article 2, which is to change the governance of Belmont Light from the 3-member select board to a 5-member elected board, separate from the select board. So as it turns out, it did pass 225 to 43, but there was, like I said, 2 hours of debate, more than 30 people, most speaking in support. However, Adam Dash did say that he was against it, and he had multiple reasons why he's concerned that an elected light board might decide they don't want to make the pilot payment to the town, which is $650,000 annually. So he was concerned about that. He's also concerned, this is interesting. He's concerned about the future of the municipal light building, which is currently being used by Belmont Light. It's that dilapidated building next to the Belmont Police Station and across from Belmont Town Hall. And he's concerned about the future of that because he said maybe an elected light board will decide they want to continue using the site, which would limit the town's options to redevelop it. And then just on the flip side of that, some town meeting members who were not sure how they wanted to vote on this were asking about that building. That building was a big issue with this article. And town council clarified that once the light board decides they no longer want to use it, for the light department, then it would go to town meeting and it would require a 2/3 vote to decide what the future use will be.
So town meeting will have a role in deciding any future use of that building.
Right. Once the light board decides they no longer want it. Another interesting point that came up from a town meeting member, Elizabeth Dion, was that she was in favor of Article 2. She said because if perhaps more people would run for select board if they didn't have the additional responsibility of having to serve on the light board, which that was interesting to hear. And Paul Roberts also spoke in favor of Article 2, saying that the former general manager that they had, Chris Roy, and he believes probably many other general managers of Belmont Light left because they didn't like the way it was governed. They didn't like that they had to answer to the select board as the light board, plus the light board advisory committee. So worth noting is that now that there will be an elected light board, 5 seats will be, hopefully 5 people will be running, maybe more, in the town election, which will be April 5th, 2022. Once those people are in place and this new board is in place, there will no longer be a light board advisory committee, and it'll be up to the new board to decide if they want to have that. And the other point was just, expertise. They want people who have expertise. Maybe there are electricians in town, environmental engineers, people like that, who might want to run for this seat who are more qualified. That was the other argument. We need people who are more qualified to be on the light board.
All right, Joanna. So tonight the town meeting continues, different set of issues, and we'll have to see what happens with that.
Make sure you drink your coffee.
All right. So Belmont is experiencing a really worrisome set of thefts, Joanna, including one specific type of vehicle. What can you tell me about that?
I cannot get over this. There were 10 catalytic converters stolen from Toyota Priuses overnight in Belmont between April 27th and May 1st. That's a really short period of time in streets near each other: Newton Street, Payson Road, Lewis Road, Park Road, Springfield Street, Elm Street, Beach Street, and Washington Street.
Why would that specific type of vehicle be targeted?
Well, from what I understand, according to Lieutenant Kristen Daly with the Belmont Police Department, they are easier to remove from this type of vehicle. Toyota Priuses, I guess the catalytic converters are easier to remove from that type of vehicle. They don't require a saw. You just unscrew them. They're wanted because of their precious metals. They contain platinum. And the other thing I think worth noting is this is happening not just in Belmont. This is happening in Cambridge. It's a regional problem. It's not just Belmont. And the way to protect your Toyota Prius, if you do own one and you're concerned about this, which I personally think you should be, is to park it where there's lights, a lot of lights, so that, and maybe you have like one of those Ring doorbell cameras that you can aim at your car. Or if you have a garage, park it inside the garage, make sure the garage is locked, just to deter people from stealing them. This is happening all on residential properties overnight in people's driveways.
All right, Joanna. Worrisome type of theft.
I know.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And we will talk again next time. You can find more news from the Belmont Citizen-Herald at belmont.wickedlocal.com. You've been watching the Belmont Journal's News Now. I'm Mike Crowley, and I'll see you next time.